Hey guys, in a recent haul, I picked up a couple of products from Physicians Formula and I wanted to share my first impressions of them with you, as well as some follow-up review thoughts on them. So the products that I picked up are the Super BB Insta Ready, and this is replacing a BB cream that I had previously from Physicians Formula. So I'm gonna kind of have that mindset in terms of comparison, but also just looking at it as a BB cream slash foundation and how well it covers, holds, all that kind of good stuff. The Physicians Formula Full Coverage Concealer in the Insta Ready variety is relatively new, and I wanted to give this a try as well. I'm on the hunt for a really good drugstore concealer. I've seen some pretty good reviews on this one, so I'm pretty curious to see how it turns out. So let's get started. So first of all, I want to mention that on my skin, all I have right now is my moisturizer with SPF, which is something I wear every single day, so it wouldn't be a good test of these products if I didn't have it on. So I am wearing that, and then I have my eyes and brows done as well. I am using my Butter London Pretty Proper palette in these gorgeous taupe shades. This is what I have on my eyes today. I also have my brows done already, so aside from lotion, that's what's going on my face already. Now let's go ahead and get into the first impressions. I think I want to try both of these with a beauty sponge today, so I'm going to go ahead and dampen this beauty sponge from Beauty Junkies, which you can find on Amazon, and then I'm going to take the little sponge out of the packaging here and dampen that one as well to use with the concealer. So the lightest shade that they had in the BB cream is the shade Light, which is what I picked up. A little bit nervous that it's going to be a bit too dark, but we will find out. That's one thing about these BB creams and most of the skin or complexion products from Physicians Formula. They have a very narrow shade range. Usually they only have shades light, light medium, or medium, and nothing else on the other ends of the spectrum. So as I'm squeezing it out here, I feel like the texture is definitely different from the Super CC. It looks a little bit more moussey in texture and kind of lightweight rather than kind of lotiony in texture. All right, so now that I have the BB cream blended over my skin, I do think the shade match is pretty good. It's just a little bit darker than I would want it to be, but it doesn't seem to have quite as thick of a coverage as this CC cream does. And so the shade came across just a bit darker on this one, I think because of the texture of the formula. But otherwise pretty similar in terms of coverage. It's kind of evening things out, but not actually giving me much coverage. I would say you can definitely still see some spots. I have a tiny little sunspot right here that is coming through. You can see some of the like scarring that I have on my chin still showing through. But overall, my complexion does look pretty even. I feel like it feels kind of moisturizing as well. So my skin is looking more on the luminous side than on the matte or demi-matte side. So it's definitely something that I would want to set with a powder, but I'm going to give it a few seconds to see if that finish changes as it dries down. And while I do that, I wanted to share with you just some of the claims from Physicians Formula. So here we go. This is pretty extreme. It says Selfie Beauty Benefits: perfecting, smoothing, protecting, hydrating, priming, line softening, pore minimizing, shine minimizing, oil control, blurring, light diffusing. So perfection in a bottle essentially are its claims. It does have sunscreen and SPF of 30, which I like. My moisturizer does have an SPF, but I don't mind piling on the SPF. I live in Florida, so it's always good to be protected from the sun. In terms of all of those claims, I guess we'll see. I think it basically hydrates and evens out my skin tone. Maybe it primes. We'll see how powder goes on, how concealer goes on over it, and all of that. I will say my skin feels good. I've had very dry skin the past like 5 days. I don't know what happened. Normally I'm combination oily. So this actually feels pretty nice on my skin. It doesn't feel heavy, but it feels like there's extra moisture there. Okay, now I want to go in with the concealer. So this is the Insta Ready concealer. It's called a full coverage concealer. I have it in the shade Fair. It says light reflecting spherical beads color filter pigments and high-tech polymers work together to instantly mattify, blur, and visibly retexturize skin while providing or while protecting against UVA, UVB damage with broad spectrum SPF 30. So another bit of SPF in this and some claims about it perfecting your skin. So it is a tiny little bottle and it has a pump. So I'm going to do my best to pump out the correct amount. I have seen complaints that the pump is a bit of an issue, like it produces a little more product than you actually need. So we'll see. I'm going with that for starters. I have a feeling that will be plenty. So I'm going to just dot it on my under eyes. Well, I have to say, just to the touch, it feels very silky. So that's promising. Hopefully silky means it will play nice with my dry texture, my under eyes. This is a lot of product. I am definitely happy to blend this out with a sponge because it's a ton of product. So I'm just putting the extra that was on this fingertip down the center of my nose. And like I said, I do have a little bit of scarring on my chin. So let's add some there and see if we can cover up that a little bit. Okay, I'm going to use the big guy on my chin and then I'm going to go in with the little tiny blender for my under eye. So now that this is damp, it didn't really change in size, so I'm almost feeling like you don't have to dampen it to make it work, but I'm gonna go ahead and use this to blend out the under eye concealer. Okay, honestly, it feels pretty squishy to the touch, but there's something about it that kind of hurts when I'm tapping it against my under eye. And I think it's because it's just such a harsh point and such a small object that there's just no way to have as much give in the Beauty Blender. So I'm not in love with this. I think I'm gonna go ahead and switch back to my big one here from Beauty Junkies. It didn't do a bad job blending it out, but I just don't really like the way that it feels. You know, I feel pretty good about how well it brightened and covered. I think the coverage is nice. I would say it's medium coverage, but maybe you can build it to full coverage. I don't have crazy dark under eye circles, so I'm not gonna do that because I know just my skin type, it's gonna end up showing texture if I build and build product. So I'm liking the way it looks so far. Everything looks and feels pretty hydrated. I don't think I can get behind the claims that this is mattifying or oil controlling in any way. It feels very shiny on my skin between the BB cream and the concealer. I'm just not buying that claim. I'm going to go ahead and set it and see how it does in that regard, if oil breaks through again through the powder or what have you as I go throughout my day. So I'm going to set, I'm going to add some blush. So I'm gonna set it all and then I am going to add the rest of my face makeup and come right back. All right, you guys, there you have it. I have the rest of my makeup applied and I've powdered. I added my RCMA translucent powder underneath my eyes, and I did notice some creasing between when I applied the concealer and when I was ready to apply the powder. So I just kind of rubbed out the little creasy collecting areas of the concealer and added the powder then, and they seem to be fine. And then I went ahead and added a different powder on the rest of my face to help with mattifying. This is like my daily use powder that I really love. It's the Physicians Formula Mineral Wear Talc Free Powder, also in translucent. So that's on the rest of my face, blush, highlight, that kind of thing also going on. So you guys, I'm feeling this. I feel like I have a good skin day going on. You saw how kind of blotchy and red and everything my skin looked before, and now it looks really even. So I'm feeling really good about this. My one concern is that, okay, if it's so hydrating with good coverage and all of that, is it going to last and is it really going to stay mattified now that it's set? It claims it will on the packaging, gonna keep the oil under control, but we will find out and I will keep you posted. But I'd love to know your thoughts. What do you think about the transformation from before I had the BB cream and the concealer on to now? I'm pretty impressed myself. So I'm gonna check back in with you later and give you an update on how everything is holding up. Hi again, I am doing my 4-hour check-in. 4 hours is usually that time period where I start to see foundation break down and I see oil coming through on my skin. My skin has been exceptionally dry recently, like I mentioned before, which is kind of out of the ordinary. But even with so much dryness on my skin, I still typically get a little bit of oil breakthrough right up here. Today, I'm not seeing any, honestly, like no oil breakthrough whatsoever. And I'm kind of astonished because when I put the BB cream on and the concealer on, it looked pretty dewy, which is not something I'm used to. Of course, it set down nice and matte with powder, but even when I set other foundations with powder, I tend to have some oil breakthrough, so I'm kind of impressed. I have had to blow my nose a bunch today. TMI, I'm sorry, but you can kind of see that it's rubbed off around my upper lip and nose area, so it's a little bit red there. Also try to insert an image or get really up close here in a second so you can see how the dryness is coming through on my skin as well. It's sort of like the product is clinging to dry patches. It's super not cute up close, but that's not just this BB cream. In fact, it looks better today than it did the past few days when I've been trying to use just like my normal foundation. It was looking real bad. And that's just my skin, but overall, I wanted to kind of give you another picture and a check-in on how things are going. I'm liking it. I'm kind of impressed with how well it's holding up, especially for a BB cream. I feel like it has solid medium coverage. It really blurs everything out and it's not oily. So far, so good. I don't really blame these products for looking that crazy up close. It's totally the dryness in my skin, so, take that as you will. I'm sorry for the extreme close-up, it was totally not cute. But I thought that maybe I would try a little bit of a reapplication. I'm gonna go with the concealer and try to add just a little bit more coverage back in around these more red areas. See if it layers on top of what's already there okay, or if it's a train wreck. Okay, try as I might to like pump the tiniest amount out of here, I could not. So that's gonna be something to consider. It's like pretty impossible to get less than this amount of product when you do one pump of it. So I'm gonna take just a tiny bit and apply that to where I most red and lost coverage. Okay, I just took a little bit extra and applied it around my mouth and nose where it had started to wear away, and I still have this much product left, which is a gigantic waste. I really dislike that about the packaging. I mean, it's not the end of the world, I just feel like I'm gonna end up wasting product because of this. So I feel like from this perspective, my skin looks really good. Again, it's pretty hydrating. It looks kind of dewy on the skin, but it dries down pretty matte. But I will show you another extreme and painful close-up so you can see how that really applied as a second coat after 4 hours of wear. Hey guys, I wanted to check back in with you. It's been a week since I did my first impressions on the InstaReady BB cream and the InstaReady concealer by Physicians Formula. And after using this for a week and letting my skin go through some changes, I wanted to just update you and kind of give you my full review because I think both of these products warrant that. Basically, because I'm really enjoying them. I am finding that both of these are really fantastic and high quality. especially for their amazing drugstore price. I wanted to show you kind of a skin update because I've been using this. I've changed sort of the application techniques and tested it out a bunch in the past week. And I wanted to give you another close-up look at how it's wearing. Right now, I just have both of these products applied to my skin and I have powdered. I don't have any other like contour or blush on. I don't even have my eye makeup done, just a little bit of lipstick and some brows because I wanted to give you a really clear picture of what everything looks like on my skin and around my eye area. So I just have to say that I'm so impressed with the coverage of the BB cream. I really think this is comparable to like the IT Cosmetics CC cream, but I think it's more hydrating. And there's something really interesting about this product where it's hydrating, to me at least, but it's not overly luminous. So it gives you kind of a satin finish. It says it's a matte finish, and for me, it's just not. I definitely have, you know, the oily T-zone, and I do notice that that area can get a little bit oily if I don't set it. But I find that once this is set, my skin looks like it's still hydrated, but it's not overly matte or overly luminous. I'm just really enjoying the finish. So what I did today was I actually applied this with just a tiny bit of my regular SPF moisturizer to thin it out just a little bit, and I'm still having this amazing coverage. But also I used the concealer, and as I mentioned before, it is super difficult to pump out a small amount of this, so I kind of use this to add some additional coverage at the center of my face where I have a little bit more redness. So I didn't mind, you know, kind of thinning this out a little bit with the moisturizer in doing that because I knew I would be amping up the coverage with the concealer. So all in all, I am so enjoying this. I really think that this concealer is fantastic. It feels good on my under eye, and that's something that's sometimes hard to find something that doesn't emphasize dry texture or fine lines and that kind of thing. You do have to set it because it will settle in fine lines, so just keep that in mind. But it doesn't emphasize them, and it doesn't look cakey or unnatural under the eyes. So I'm just really enjoying that. I think coverage-wise, you're getting a decent full coverage. Though if you have some intense dark circles, you probably still want to use a corrector underneath, but I think that might just be par for the course. So I'm really enjoying this, and I wanted to give you that final review and update. I'm going to go ahead and give you a zoom in on my skin so that you can see I've kind of conquered the whole dryness situation that was happening. I figured out it was a new product that I was using in my skincare routine. So I'll probably chat with you guys more about that in the future. But the flakiness is gone, and the way this is sitting on my skin, I'm just really pleased with. All right, you guys, I am back with just a little bit more makeup, and I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I'm really pleased overall, and I definitely think that it's something that might be worth a try for you if you are looking for a product that has medium to full coverage and that also has an SPF of 30. I think that's one of the best benefits about this. So thanks again so much for watching. I hope that you'll subscribe to my channel so that you can catch further videos, and that you'll also give this video a thumbs up and let me know that you liked it. Hope you're having an awesome day, and I will catch you next time. Bye.